Hello, YouTube. I apologize for the hiatus from the weekly and almost daily uploads, but I've had a bunch of crap going on in the background recently that took me out of the regular schedule. Anyways, I'm back, so let's get on with the next Mod Monday. Today's Mod Monday will cover the Kenshi Mod Shrieking Bandits Expanded by Microwave Row. Much like the last week we did Mod Monday, we have another community recommended faction expansion mod. This one again has some odd balancing issues and some odd addition choices that we'll get to later in the armor section, but overall adds a bit of love and flair to the Shrieking Bandits expansion. Up first, we have tech and item additions. Much like Cannibals Expanded, you only have one type of item to farm for the armors, and it's relatively common on the Shrieking Bandits. That is, of course, the item, the Shrieking Tablet. Players will need to collect a grand total of 56 of these artifacts from the bandits while they're in the forest in order to craft everything and every variation of armor. Players will be able to craft the Foolish Babbler, the Wise Babbler, and the new full body wraps at Tech Level 2. You will need 16 tablets for Tech Level 2. The Yellow Howler and the Red Howler can be crafted at Tech Level 3. You'll need 14 tablets for Tech Level 3. Screeching Armor and the Moaning Armor can be crafted at Tech Level 4. You will need a total of 16 tablets for this tech level. And finally, and sadly the least, armor I do not like the most, the foot armor can be crafted at tech level 5 for a total of 10 tablets. The armors, oddly enough, while pretty strong, also come in variations much like the cannibals do, so you can craft only an arm piece or 2 arm pieces or the full chest set, and they also spawn like this on the bandits. It's something I hope a lot of modders take note of, even if it does add a bit of clutter. It's something that at minimum, spawn-wise, makes sense and brings a bit more visual storytelling to the world of Kenshi. The armors, as stated, are decently balanced, but do have some higher bonuses or malices in some areas in comparison to, say, the samurai set or the crab set. Something to be mindful of when making them and using them. Onto the weapons, again decently balanced in most cases. Unlike the cannibal weapons, they are however quite strong. The wafer blade, much like the classical Nodachi blade from Japan, this however is straight. Longer than many weapons in game, it provides a great niche filler with incredible speed and attack bonuses, but it is very weak against armor. And by this I mean very weak. The Tumorous Club, a small club type weapon filling in the blunt slot. We have a larger but oddly lightweight weapon that focuses almost purely on blunt. And I do say almost, though it arguably should focus solely on blunt like its big brother does. A solid weapon, but beaten out by some other blunt weapons from vanilla like the Falling Sun, it's still cool to carry around. The comparison doesn't really work too well there, but if you compare it to the Mercenary Club, it makes a little bit more sense. It's a little weaker than the Mercenary Club, but the split blade pole arm. Focusing on animal damage like many other pole arms, this weapon is slightly less balanced than the heavy pole arm and fills a niche of weight versus length pretty well. The Madman's Great Club, a heavy and hefty large club type weapon. This weapon, unlike its smaller counterpart, does actually focus solely on pure blunt damage. It also has a 20% damage bonus to robots of all types, making this weapon incredibly useful and deadly for clearing ruins if you can wield it. The Disc Saber. I sadly wasn't able to locate this in-game while filming the footage, so I couldn't generate its icon as easily. Filling in a small niche for sabers, this focuses mostly on blunt and then a small bit of armor penetration. Shaped like an axe, this weapon also does 15% more damage to animals. The Beaked Cleaver. Another weapon relatively balanced and has 10% bonus to skeletons, but is somewhat of a mid-game weapon. It doesn't scale very high and can be easily replaced by some vanilla weapons when starting later game content, even in vanilla. A useful and pretty weapon early to mid game, it falls off late game, which is actually a good thing in this case. Armors and characters. Now, I won't highlight every single little change in every little armor piece, but rather we'll try to go through the sets themselves, as there are a handful of variations of chest pieces and leg pieces, much like Cannibals Expanded, that would make this video 30 minutes long, reading off every stat in comparison to other vanilla armors. First up, you have 2 new body wraps that cover the entire body from toe to neck. These provide better coverage overall and fill in some armor gaps rather nicely for vanilla armors. So something like a dust coat and drifter legs, this actually goes in the shirt slot and fills out some coverage that those armors don't provide. There's 2 variations like many shirts, a light version and a dark version. Following the base game format, we have the dark version giving some bonuses to stealth. The Babbler set, worn by the Babblers, are just an adapted Shrieking Bandit from vanilla. Much of their gear looks like it's aged copper that has turned green, which provides a nice nice aesthetic to the forest and its area. Coverage is very obviously not very strong, but the materials do resist a decent, healthy amount of damage when the protection works. The Modding set is rarer set you'll see in Shrieking Bandits Expanded, as it is unique to the Modding Samurai with their giant wafer blades. With massive head protection and iron skirt and arm guards, it does provide a visually stunning and unique, if odd, gear set that the players may want to use just because it looks cool. Stats pair similarly with less coverage to the mid-tier samurai armor. By this I mean the stats are comparable at their highest to a mid-grade samurai armor. The Howler set gives crab armor a run for its money, not only in terms of looks but in terms of functionality. A heavier heavy set, it has some great bonuses that could stand to be adjusted but are decently balanced overall. For the smaller set variations, we have the Screeching set. This set embodies a more animalistic setup and is very, very light armor wise. While it doesn't offer much in terms of protection, it does actually give decent bonuses to damage and accuracy across the board, meaning that it's an armor that you would have to choose whether or not you want high protection or high damage. Then finally, and definitely least, we have the armor set I do not particularly like, the Foot set. The exemplification of an idea gone awry and well outside of the norm in terms of good design, this armor set can be crafted and found sparingly throughout the area, meaning that it will not just randomly show up with a squad of 100 people wearing foot armor. However, the enemies it does come on are pretty difficult, having well over 70 plus stats in martial arts and attack and defense, making them the toughest and deadliest challenge to the mod and the area. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you guys next week. If you guys like the video, leave a like. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. If you guys have any recommendations for what mods we should do in the future, review-wise, you should also leave that below. If you like the content, consider subscribing. I am Atlas, and I am out.